Well, it's a major pushback against the Trump administration. Tuesday, a judge ordered some 12,000 refugees to be admitted into the United States. The judge ruled that while the president has some power over immigration, he can't override laws made by Congress that set up the refugee system.
Now, this decision came after refugee aid groups and individuals sued, saying a pause on the refugee admissions program hurt refugees and disrupted their services. The judge emphasized that many refugees had their plans canceled suddenly, leaving them in unsafe situations and separating families. Now the government must resume processing refugee applications for those who had already been approved before the pause.
Queen City News Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes joins us to talk about what this means and if there's bigger implications in the ruling. And good morning, Khalif. I guess the first thing is, will these people be able to get into the U.S. given the ruling? I know the judge said the administration are kind of interpreting it their own way.
Interpreting it their own way is an understatement. I mean, the judge, what I can say is, I look at a couple things. North Carolina is not unique from getting weird rulings, right? I remember one case where the judge in the court said that they used surgical precision to disenfranchise African-American voters, right? So you see that language, like, wow, that pops off the page. This judge said something very, very similar, that you guys are trying to rewrite the judge's order, and your interpretation would take basically a hallucination of the reading of my ruling, which is something I've never seen a judge say. So this unique type of writing from these judges to kind of hit home what they're actually trying to tell you to do when you're just missing the point. The way they were trying to interpret it and the way that this judge wanted to interpret was night and day. And that's typical in a situation like this. Normally, if you don't understand what the judge is saying, the judge will bring you back and say, look, was it ambiguous? Was there some misunderstanding? Please let me know what you didn't get. And then the judge, the government in this case came back and was like, well, this is how we were reading it. And that's why the judge said, look, seems like a hallucination, so let me go ahead and clear it up for you. Yeah, I mean, these folks should be coming into the country as designated, as you mentioned in the intro, by Congress, not by the president.
And how I understood really what's central at this argument here is the difference between how many would be let in, because the Trump administration says that no, we've been ordered to let in about 160 people. That's just anybody who had plans to come and arrive within the 2 weeks after January 20th when this executive order was signed.
That's correct.
But the judge is saying, I never said 2 weeks. I just said anyone with plans, which could extend months, possibly years?
That's 100%. Everything that you're saying is there in it. And we even have to take a look back. There is this attack right now on immigration to this country. And there's a dumping, and I've hit home on it a number of times here about dumping and putting people all into this one bucket. Like anyone that's coming here is a problem, is bad. And we forget some of the tenets that we were founded on. We literally forget some of the folks that are here now that are sitting here were immigrants. Their grandfathers and grandparents were immigrants from somewhere else. And because of that, it's easy to distance yourself and say, hey, they're not talking about me, they're talking about them. But what our tenets were founded on, things like that at the bottom of the Statue of Liberty, that new Colossus poem, give me your poor, give me your tired. Well, those are the same folks that are coming here, and they're not coming here to commit crimes. They're not coming here specifically intending on, I want to do harm. They're normally running from persecution. They're normally running from something in their country where they have to leave, and now they have to come here seeking some type of shelter, some type of covering, some type of freedom that we are supposed to be offering. If you're the leader of the free world, part of being the leader is that responsibility to protect folks when they come to your borders seeking refugees, because you need that refuge from something else.
Well, Khalif, let's talk about, there's a lot of organizations that are tied to this decision, though, because you're talking about the organizations that spend the money to bring the refugees here. And so how will they be affected? Are they going to be able to get them here, or because that money is still tied up in the court system as well? I
mean, folks will find a way to get here. So let's be clear, both legal and illegal. They will figure out a way to get here. But as the Trump administration has done, not a spaghetti approach like they did in the first administration, seeing what was stick, but a more strategic approach to this immigration where we'll hit you with the dollars and we'll hit you with policy. I think if that is the approach, then that's fine. It just has to stay within the confines of what is in the executive branch's authority. And this judge is clearly saying that something that Congress implemented in 1980 is outside of the scope of the executive. The federal government, and I have to be clear, has 100% control over immigration. So any state that tries to do their own thing and create walls and create borders and stop folks and arrest them, that's outside the scope of what our Constitution says. It's clear that the federal government has control. The president does have a limited scope ability to do something, but not with this case here. And that's why the judge said, look, those 12,000 are supposed to come in, and there's probably supposed to be many more. But finding ways to stop them is what this administration is doing. The courts are now trying to figure out how they can wrap their hands around the legality of that.
All right, Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes, thank you so much for breaking that down for us here.